Hello listeners, my name is Charles Scott Sr. and the program is called Can We Talk? Here we are, another fine weekend here. I'm here with
Charles Scott Jr. How you guys doing? Thanks for tuning in again this week. As you know, weekly we give information not just on real estate, but things to help your life.
Today we're going to be talking about some of the things that have happened in the past week.
Yes.
And we're going to give you a synopsis of some of the things that are happening as far as real estate out there, as far as the rental market and the resale market and the economy. There's
a lot of things have gone on. Yeah, because it's been about 2 weeks since we recorded. A lot of things, a lot of changes in the market right now as far as still no inventory. That's one of the main things we are seeing in the pressing matter right now. I'm seeing billboards that are paid by NAR saying people list their homes. Realtors need listings right now.
A lot of people right now are looking for a 2 or 3 family house.
Yes.
That's the hot topic right now. 2 and 3 family homes, mainly because they feel as though that's going to help them pay their mortgage. Mm-hmm. But it's one way or the other. If the tenant doesn't pay, now you're in worse shape because you are still responsible for all of the bills.
Oh yes, you can't call the bank and say, hey, my tenant didn't pay this month. Can I get an extra time to pay the mortgage? They're going to give you a late fee on the mortgage.
And we want to give you an idea of what's happening throughout the state of Connecticut. This is a situation where there's a shortage of multifamily housing, and that's not only in, for example, we're in Fairfield County. In Fairfield County, I can say, for example, in Fairfield itself, the city, there's probably 2 multifamilies available for sale. I know I looked in Stratford last week, there was 1.
Got the 1.
Now things are flourishing. They got a grand total of 4. But then again, the prices have gone up also.
Yes.
And Bridgeport has around 22. And when you go down in the valley, because we handle the entire state, but if you're going down into the valley, then you're hitting Seymour, Ansonia, Derby,
Waterbury,
Naugatuck. And those areas, each city has about 2 or 3 multifamily houses for sale. The next big city where you might find, let's say around, I think Waterbury has around 23.
Yes.
That's Waterbury, Connecticut. And Waterbury is probably, I'd say, from Fairfield County, about a half an hour's drive.
Just about.
And a lot of people commute from Waterbury into the Fairfield County and into New York area. Some people don't like the commute from Route 8. They think it's a long ways, but if you're out there, it's not very, it doesn't take that long. Because they don't allow, well, they allow, but you don't see a lot of tractor trailers.
There's no commercial vehicles when it comes to
the
valley and where Route 8 is. Just real passenger vehicles.
So if you're listening to this program and you're trying to plot out your plan and you want to come into Connecticut and you want to buy a multifamily house, it behooves you to look into some other areas, be creative. Look into Waterbury, look into the Naugatuck area. Mm-hmm. It only takes about, I'd say, 20-25 minutes to get to Fairfield County from Naugatuck.
Yeah, I would say also give us a call because we're experts in those areas. You might find some advantages. You might say, wow, my pricing power, my pre-approval goes a longer way in Seymour and maybe Derby. Maybe the taxes are lower too compared to some of the areas I've been looking at before.
For example, a house in Fairfield, a multifamily, if you can find a nice one, will be selling for somewhere around $700,000 and up.
Yes.
That same house in, let's say, the Bridgeport area, instead of $700,000, would be about $400 to $450.
Yes.
$500. Then go down the valley. If you're in Seymour, Derby, Ansonia, that same house would be about $350,000.
Correct.
Now, if you go down to Waterbury, that house would be somewhere around $300,000, and that's up. Waterbury, that house going back about 6 months ago, a year ago, might have been about maybe $200, $250.
Yes, I was going to say $250 up to $300.
Mm-hmm. So you can see the further away you get from New York City, the lower the prices.
Yes, people realize that when they come searching. I get a lot of my customers that come, they say, let's look in Fairfield, let's look in Bridgeport, Stratford, Norwalk, and they realize, wow, a lot of competition out here, which is understandable. We're right next to New York. But as you go up the valley, you say, wow, I mean, the houses sometimes are even better, in better quality, and they're lower price, and the taxes are more favorable.
West Haven, now that's going down the valley. Let's say you're coming in from Fairfield County, and you want to go into the next town would be, let's say, Milford.
Yes.
If you're going into Milford, there's very few multifamily houses. Milford is more of a shorefront town.
Big colonials.
Colonials. You have
Single-family
near
houses.
near the water. You got homes that are near the water in Milford, and in the middle of Milford you have the mall and the Boston Post Road. A lot of
Yes.
commercial. But off to the side you have more so the shorefront area. Flood insurance is required.
Yes.
But you don't have an abundance of multifamilies either.
No.
In Milford, you probably have about 2 at the
Exactly.
most, 2 or 3. And then from Milford, we're going down a little bit further, you run into West Haven. Now, West Haven is, a very busy city. You have in West Haven about 12 multifamily houses for sale, because West Haven starts near the water, but you go in further. It's a little city surrounding New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, as I was saying, it starts kind of like near Campbell Avenue. But the thing with West Haven, like we've seen, is the University of New Haven is constantly expanding. I see a lot of people buying properties out there, predicting that the university will definitely need housing. So what they do is they hold on to it and they say, maybe I'll rent it out, or maybe they'll move it in themselves for a while.
The rental market is strong
Very strong.
regardless of any of these areas. And the more people and the more businesses, the stronger the rental market.
Yes.
Because people have to live somewhere. The workers have to live somewhere. The owners can buy a house, but you need workers inside of these places.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things with Connecticut right now. One of that they're fighting with is affordable housing for the workers. There's a big push. The governor has a big push on affordable housing, trying to get more units. There's
Yes.
been more housing startups or permits. In other words, new construction. People are starting to build homes. There's a big gold rush going on. A lot of new permits coming up.
Yes.
So there's going to be housing, but that takes time.
That's the thing. It takes time to build these structures. You see them yourself as you drive to work. You may look to the left or right. You see the frame goes up, and they got to put the foundation first, actually. But you're seeing it takes time to build these large structures.
Not only that, a lot of it has to do with the government. You got to get first. You got to get the land. Then you got to get permits. Then it's got to go through the building department. It's got to go through the zoning department, the
Different
electrical
areas.
department, the plumbing department. Then you have to get your permits in order to build, and you got to get your contractors. You got to get a plumber, an electrician, a carpenter, a roofer. All these people.
You got to hope the area is zoned for the property. You might have to go to the public hearing and have the public talk about it and vote on it.
So as you can see, it's not that easy to build a home. I had looked into just a couple of years ago. I said, if I get some land, I can build a single family house and sell it. Or I said, but how about a modular house? I said, I don't know anything about contracting that much as dealing with the contractors and finding the contractors for this and that.
Yes.
But if I can get the piece of land, then I can have the modular house sent up and just drop it on the land and put it together and sell it. But I found out that you don't save that much money. When
Yes.
you buy a modular home, because it's all together, it seems as though that you would save money, but it's just about the same cost for a modular home as it is they call it stick built. You build it from scratch.
Exactly.
So it's not a lot of savings that you're going to get, because you still have to go through the plumbing, electrical, the carpenters, put it together, and you still got to get all your permits, and then you got to have find the land. So there's still a lot to it.
And that's what we're seeing the developers are doing. They're running into the same issues I would say the mom and pops are running into when they say, why build from scratch when I can take this, maybe it's an old hotel, maybe it's an old factory, and just repurpose it and turning it into units.
Right. What we're looking for right now are listings. We're
Yes.
looking for properties to sell. There, and right now you get there's a high demand. If you're looking to sell a property, if you know of someone who's looking to sell a property,
yes,
now is the time to sell that property because things go up and things come down.
And I say they come down a lot faster than they do going up.
We expect the property values to come down. You know, not a lot. There's not going to be any run of where people are going to, you know, drastically start selling off and have the prices come down. One of the things that's propping up the prices is the employment.
Yes.
People are still finding jobs. So with the, you know, that's another reason why
We just had a jobs report that was pretty
inflation.
strong. I mean, right now, you look at our past episodes, you can subscribe and see. We talk about the Federal Reserve a lot because that affects everything that we do daily, whether it's car payments or credit card payments, but also affects the mortgages. And we're seeing that right now with the Fed trying to increase the rates. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but people are still looking for jobs and they're getting the jobs.
So if you're looking, you know, to sell your house, now is a good time to sell that particular house because you can get quite a bit of money for
Yes.
it. You'd be surprised, and that's one of the services that we offer. We offer what they call a CMA, a competitive market analysis,
Yes.
where it's a little short of an appraisal. It's not an appraisal, but what we do is we give you a good idea of what your house would sell for if you were to put it on the market. We come out, we look at the house, we even give you some ideas as to what you can do to increase the value of the house.
Yes.
Or some ideas as far as, you know, cost effective.
That was a good thing you just said. Remember, we come out to the house. A lot of people give us a call. They see the episode and they say, "Well, how much is my house worth?" Remember, you see the estimate online. That's a computer. That's an algorithm. You have to have someone come and see the house in person. Maybe you have something like a granite countertop that's not factored into this estimate. Maybe you have a finished downstairs basement. Things we have to see in person for us to give you an accurate CMA. And remember, it's free. We're not charging a dime.
There's no money at all. And a lot of times, they, you know, now they have these apps on their
Oh,
cell
yeah.
phone, and it says, "Oh, we can tell you how much your house is worth." And you go on that app and you look. Remember, that app is being used to gather information about your house when you bought the house.
Exactly.
You might have bought the house 10 years ago. Since then, you might have granite countertops put in. You might have had the house painted, new windows put in, new flooring put in.
Exactly.
A lot of things that you might have done to that particular house, which has increased the value, is not going to be reflected from that computer.
No.
So it's hard to give someone an estimate of what their house is worth without even seeing it. You know, if you got a diamond ring, you don't call the jewelry store and say, "How much is my diamond ring worth?" It's kind of shiny, and, you know, it looks like it's 14 karat gold, and you know, it's this and that, and you got to bring it in there, and they got to
look at it,
put the
look
glass on,
glass,
and
all
then
that stuff.
they see if it could be cracked, it could be chipped, it could be, you know, it could be missing a couple of times.
Exactly.
All of these things have to be done. Then they say, "Well, give me a rough estimate." You can't. It's hard to give someone a rough estimate. Every house, you could have two homes that were built alike, sitting side by side, and you could have one person who never did any upgrades, never did anything.
Exactly.
The outside of each home looks exactly the same. When you open a door to one, it could be a completely different
Night and
environment.
day.
Night and day. So that's what makes the value of the house. And also the value based upon what someone's willing to pay you.
Exactly.
I've seen two homes look exactly alike, and where one is fixed up, and that one gets all of the traffic, and the guy next door figures he's going to jump into it too, and he puts his house up for sale for the same price that the guy next door
Not the
did.
same price. He's going to squeeze $10,000 more. He's going to put up there
Yeah,
for.
everybody's greedy. It's like, oh, if he got that, I'm going to get more.
I can at least get 10 more.
But he doesn't realize that his house is not the same house inside as the other house is.
And also another thing I was going to say, it's good that we come out because, for example, in the past where we've done CMAs, we come out, we've told some potential clients, you realize you're sitting on two lots here. In your backyard, we look at the city hall, you have two lots. So your house is actually worth a lot more than the average house on this block.
Let me talk a little bit about that. Many people out there are sitting on a gold mine and they don't even know it. You might have bought a house years and years ago, and the house has some extra land to the right or to the left of it, which you don't even use. Matter of fact, sometimes you think of it as being a burdensome because you got to cut the grass.
All that grass. They park cars on there.
People park cars. They throw trash over there. You've got your bit of land. You've got your front yard, your backyard, and you got this lot next door that came with the house, and it's not doing you any good. You know, there's no playground over there. You have to worry about the kids playing in it, but it's worth maybe $100,000 or more because it's a building lot.
Exactly. People don't realize that the dirt alone, the lot right there, could be worth $100,000.
Right. So if you're sitting in the house and you have some land to the right or to the left of it, you don't have to sell your house. You can sell just the land as long as the land is a separate lot.
Yes.
And even if it's not a separate lot, some of it, if you've been in the house for a long, long time, you can refinance your house.
Yes.
And if the lot and the house are on the same deed, you can take the lot off of the deed and just leave the house and have a separate deed and description for just the lot.
Exactly.
And have it surveyed and sell the lot and still keep your house.
People don't realize as real estate agents, you can take a piece of land and call a real estate agent. It's not just selling actual houses, buildings. Lots and land are also assets, and we do have people that are just dying to find pieces of land.
Right. So if you have some land out there, you know, give us a call. A lot of times people have land in different areas of the city that they're looking back when maybe 15, 20 years ago it was worth $10,000.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, that land's not worth anything. I got to keep going.
All you do is pay the tax bill every year.
Paying the taxes
cut the grass
year,
every couple months.
You know, sometimes you get so disgusted you feel like just letting it go.
Right.
But guess what? That land could be worth $100,000, $70,000. And look at, instead of having to pay taxes on it, worry about it, now that's money in your pocket. So we're telling you some creative ways and some creative things that you can do. That you know, you have acres of diamonds, you know, you got gold sitting right in front of you, you know. Turn the dirt into gold.
And also people that are watching now that may be going through foreclosure, remember this is a different era compared to 2008, 2009. A lot of these houses have a lot of equity built in, and the bank won't tell you that. It's up to you to do your own due diligence. Call a realtor, call us up, we'll do a free CMA. And you'll say, wow, I'm actually not underwater, as they say, where you owe more to the bank than the house is worth. You're actually above water. You could be on a yacht for all you know. You could be saying, I could sell this house and still make a profit and move into the next house or move into my next apartment.
If you're having trouble making the mortgage payments, and the property is upside down, meaning maybe the house is not worth as much as you owe on the house. The banks are still doing short sales. Now, that's short sales going back about 4 or 5 years ago. It was you know, thousands of short sales. What that means is people had paid like maybe $400,000 for the house. The value went down. The house only worth $300,000, and they said, okay, I'm paying all this money in interest, interest only, interest, and the house is still not worth what I'm paying for it. But I want to be able to later on in life buy another house. But I'll never be able to buy another house as long as I'm stuck with this house, because it's 30 years I'm paying on it. By that time, I won't be able to do anything. So you can do a short sale if the bank allows it, where you sell the property for less money than you owe on it. And the bank, the secret is, and the caveat is, you get the bank to agree not to come after you for the money you still owe.
Exactly.
Imagine
People
that.
don't realize that.
That's called a deficiency. So if you owe $400,000 on the house, and the most anybody's willing to give you is $275,000, $300,000, then the bank allows you to sell the house for less money, and you still do not owe the other $125,000.
Exactly.
And now you can turn around and wait a couple of years. Some banks now it's even less.
Yeah, they're making it less and less.
Turn right around and buy another house.
Yeah, I believe as a first-time home buyer in some cases, right?
In some cases, a
Yeah,
first-time
if they
home buyer.
wait a few years, back from scratch. You get a second chance,
Wait a
third
few-
chance.
Yeah, wait a few words, a few years, jump back into the market, go back out there and buy yourself another house.
Exactly.
So there's all of these different things that are available to you. These are creative things that we as the real estate agents, we can sit down with you and give you some advice, look at your situation. It all boils down to, what is your house worth?
Exactly.
Is there any equity? Is there no equity? But you don't know that, and you can't do that by just looking at an app. You know, we have to come in and sit down and talk to you.
Yes.
So just want to put that out there this week, that we're looking for properties to sell. Now's a great time to sell the properties. Now's a good time for you to,
To capitalize on that equity that's built up dramatically in the last 3 years. And also, we wanted to mention people that may be getting letters from a company called Mr. Cooper. You may be throwing
Mr.
those
Cooper.
letters. Don't throw those letters in the garbage. Those are very important letters. You may think, well, I got a mortgage with this bank or mortgage with this broker. Those are related to your mortgage. You may not know that you may have a balloon payment coming up, which means they're going to be asking for a lot of money due all at once. If you have a letter from them, give us a call, because we can explain to you what that letter is saying.
Right. What happened was, a lot of people in the past got a first mortgage and a second mortgage.
Yes.
They're buying a house, they don't have all the money, so they get $200,000 from one bank, and they borrow another $50,000 from another bank.
Yes.
So now there it is. But what happens is, the first mortgage is good for 30 years.
30 years.
So 30 years to pay. Then that other mortgage that you got, it's the smaller one, it's not for 30 years. It may be only for 5 years.
Exactly.
Maybe 10 years. Now, what happens is, you're making mortgage payments to the first mortgage company. You're making mortgage payments to the second mortgage
everything
company.
right.
You're doing everything right. And you're thinking to yourself, after 2 or 3 years, you forget that other one isn't not for 30 years. It's only for like 5 or 10 years.
Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people are excited when they buy a house. They might not even know. They just want to sign. They want to move in the house.
Sign.
Get me in there.
Yeah, now.
But that new mortgage, that second one, I mean, it's 5 years. That 5 years go by really quick.
Now all of a sudden you get a letter from Mr. Cooper.
Mr. Cooper.
Now, it sounds like a friendly guy, doesn't
He
it?
does, doesn't he? Mr. Cooper.
Mr. Cooper sounds like the friendliest guy in the world. Now, Mr. Cooper wasn't always Mr. Cooper.
No.
I think that's the name of a mortgage company that took over mortgages from another company. But the name now is Mr. Cooper. It sounds friendly. It sounds like Casper the Friendly Ghost. But Mr. Cooper now shows up in your mailbox, and Mr. Cooper says, well, for the first 5 years, the mortgage payment that you owed us, you only paid $150 a month extra, because we loaned you that $25,000 or $50,000. But now it was only for 5 years. At the end of the 5 years, we want all of our money.
Yes, you want a balloon payment.
It's called a balloon payment. Whereas the monthly payments are first maybe $100, $150 a month. But at the end of the 5 or the 10 years, all the money is due. Not like a 30-year mortgage,
Everything's
where you
due.
pay from the first year to the 30th year. With a balloon mortgage, it means that you pay a little bit every month, but I want all my money at the end of the term. So 5 years later, you might owe Mr. Cooper $35,000, $40,000 all at once.
All at once.
He doesn't want to say, well, we can sign another paper and keep billing you. Nope. I want all my money now, or I'm going to foreclose.
Exactly.
And take the whole house back. So what
Exactly.
we see happening right now is, we do see foreclosures ramping up from Mr. Cooper.
We're seeing a lot of that.
A lot of that, where what's happening is, Mr. Cooper is coming and saying they want all their money all at one time, no negotiating, and if you don't pay us, we're going to foreclose. And that way we get not only the equity that we have in the house, but we'll foreclose on the first mortgage. And unless they can pay us off, or unless you can pay us off,
Exactly.
then we'll take the whole house. And then we'll sell the house. So just want to let you know, if you're getting those letters from Mr. Cooper,
Yeah, don't throw those away. People may think.
don't ignore it.
They may think, oh, that's not the name of my bank. I didn't buy the house from them. Remember, you have a second mortgage, and that may be serviced by Mr. Cooper at some point.
And what we find is that people come to us and they show us the paperwork and they say, my mortgage is on time. How can they foreclose on me? My payments have all been on time. I'm paying my first mortgage on time. This Mr. Cooper, I've been paying him on time every month. I never missed a payment. Doesn't make a difference that you didn't miss a payment. At the end of the 5 years, Mr. Cooper wants all his money. No more payments. He wants everything all at one time.
And the way it is, the way they do it, these letters are worded a certain way. A lot of people worry about scams out here. They may say, well, this must be a fake letter because I pay him every month. They'll disregard it until it's too late. They realize you have a court date downtown.
And if you get that court date, it's a real court date.
Yeah, don't miss that.
Because you don't miss. The reason why we keep emphasizing don't miss your court date is because if you miss a court date, the other side automatically wins by default.
By default.
The judge will say, hear ye. Is Mr. John Jones here? Is he here? Is he here? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. He's not here. Then they'll say, is anyone here from the bank? And the bank stands up. We're here.
Yep.
We're ready to proceed. And the judge will say, anybody here defending? Nope. So what does the bank want? We want our property. Okay, you got the property back. No one showed up at court because you're assuming, oh, I paid. I'm not going to go there. So it's make sure you make that appearance and you go to court.
Give us a call.
Give us a call.
Letter. No matter how old the letter is. I mean, some people say, I got the Cooper letter last year. Send a screenshot to us.
We're not lawyers, but we can give you some advice and
Definitely.
refer you to other agencies. And even if something happened and you were not able to go there and they win by default, you can reopen it a lot of times. And start all and go back in. So just want to let you know that those are the tips that we gave you this week.
And we'll talk more about this next week in the upcoming episodes.
Time to own. There's money out there to help you buy first-time home buyers.
Also, before we close, time to own. I just checked 21 million right now.
So free money, $25,000 to $50,000 to help you out there buy a house. The governor has put aside. There's free money out there.
And give us a call. We have experience with time.
Give us a call. Charles Scott, Tri-State Realty. Until next week, God bless.
God bless.